Now we're going to talk about sources and situations for real estate auctions. You have the realtor community, for sale by owners, expired listings, REO departments, which are part of the banks, developers, builders, home remodeling companies, investment groups and clubs, municipalities, local, state, and nationally, federal agencies, attorneys, and accountants. You also have real estate consultants, appraisers, estates or executors, nursing homes, retirement communities, relocation services, tax sale notices, bankruptcy, divorce, charitable organizations, schools, private and universities, corporations, insurance companies. You have probate court, foreign governments, options and guaranteed sales, timeshares, homeowner associations, private lenders, mortgage bankers. Loan portfolios, non-performing, religious organizations, they inherit a lot and get some donations from people who leave this stuff to them for their benefit. Retail store leases, ground rents, going out of business sales, business for sale by owner, business brokers, estate liquidation or partition sales, divorces, emerging markets, create equal access, appraisal value difficult to perform. REO properties, rapidly changing market, property location, financial situation, seller needs quick cash, seller wants to buy another property and must liquidate. Bankruptcy, they need to pay off the creditors. Retirement, partnership split up, they're auction minded, demand exceeds supply, high carrying cost, unique property. Health, relocation. Now we'll talk about the real estate auction worksheet. What is the real estate auction worksheet? This is your basic presentation to the client. It explains the accelerated marketing method, a comparative marketing analysis between the private treaty listing and the auction selling. Now let's compare the traditional selling net sheet for the seller with the auction method of selling. Let's say the current list price was $100,000. Typically we're looking at a situation where the auction will get about 80% of the last list price. So if you take 80% of the last list price, the seller will receive $80,000. What comes out of that $80,000? Zero. There's no fee for the selling, there's no points, there's no transfer costs, there's no repairs, there's no fix-up. So the bid of $80,000 is what the seller will put in their pocket. All other costs are paid for by the buyer. So it's a situation of not subtracting from what you listed it for and going home with a less amount. It's what you accept as the bid and the buyer paying those additional costs, which can be up to another 13 or 14%. So if we look at this situation, we're looking at the final contract or cost to the seller buyer being about $93,000 or $94,000. Now we'll talk about the traditional net worksheet. That is the traditional listing price. And how do you determine an auction price? Typically, in the marketing scenario for traditional selling, you'll have a list price, let's say for an example, $100,000. The real estate agent will list a property for $100,000 and wait for someone to come along and make an offer. Let's say they make a 10% offer less than the list price. In this case, let's work with round numbers. $100,000 list price, the offer is $90,000. What does the seller receive at the settlement table? This is the most unknown thing for most sellers today. What do they get when they sell? Typically you have a listing fee of 7%. In this case it would be $6,300. Mortgage points usually, or some type of participation payment to the mortgage broker creating the loan. 1%, which is $900. Transfer costs, which is paid by the seller, typically about 2.5% or $2,250. We'll leave out repairs, but almost all traditional real estate contracts have a number for repairs. We'll say 0. And then generally they're paid by the buyer at closing as other miscellaneous costs. We'll say 0 in this case. So if you add up $6,300, $900, and $2,250, the seller's cost to sell is $9,450. Minus that from the $90,000, and the estimated net to the seller is about $80,550. Typically the items you will need, you ask the seller to have the following items ready for you to review at the listing appointment. Copy of the deed or assignment. You need to make sure that the person that you're meeting with has the ability to be able to sell the property or the authority. Copy of plat or survey. You need to know that so that we know where the property lies and the boundaries on it, so when it transfers we don't sell somebody else's property by mistake. Current tax bill. Every buyer that comes to a sale or inquires about a property wants to know what the current taxes are. Homeowners or fire insurance policy. You have to make sure that if they have the property listed or have it mortgaged, you need to know if they have homeowners or fire insurance policy, or even if it's a waterfront property, whether they have flood insurance or not. It needs to be an insurable property. Estimate mortgage balance and other loans. You will need to know that so that you can properly advise the seller on what to sell the property for. Mortgage book, payment book. That's to make sure they're up to date and not behind on paying their payments. Settlement information from where they bought the property. This will save a lot of time when the new buyer buys the property and they want to have deeds drawn up, and someone who's familiar with getting the property settled in a quick manner. Any brochures, sales flyers prepared by realtors or by the FSBO themselves. It will save you a lot of time if they have the information already cataloged for you and you can just refer to it and verify that information. A list of special features unique to their property. Every owner has done something to their property that's unique for their benefit, and you may overlook it and want to be able to tout that when you're selling the property. A list of personal property and furnishings that are to sell with the property, or things that may be excluded from the property, including washer, dryers, things of that nature, curtains, or other important things to the seller that may not be as important to the buyer.